230. Oh, I didn't even see you guys there. You know, I sort of noticed that I kind of have a knack for sweating a little bit. And when I break down the tape, it doesn't always look like it's an enjoyable experience.
What about it?
It was a little more than I expected.
That sucks. That was a burner.
There's gotta be some reason. Guys, what is up? Kevin, Lift and Balance, you know the drill. And today we are going to talk about the why you should invest 2% of your day in this crazy voodoo-like activity we like to call exercise. And as I was contemplating with myself on what we were going to talk about this week, I realized I keep throwing up weekly workout after weekly workout, but we never really actually talked about why the hell you should actually do the workouts. I mean, you should do the workouts. We'll just talk about why. So exercise is a topic I've covered a lot, especially on Instagram. There have been several handfuls of posts around research and reasons why you should exercise and how it affects you. Here we're gonna kind of compile all that and we're gonna talk about it in one long video. Cool? Nice. So when it comes to me, my why is something called longevity. It's not to get shredded, it's not to get them gains, it's not to look awesome in a bathing suit. I mean, I'm not gonna say no to looking awesome in a bathing suit, but that's not the underlying driver for me. It is putting myself in a position to live a long life with no limitations to the very end. To take that health span curve and push it out. I should do it with this arm. To take that health span curve and to push it out to the very, very max. And exercise, strength, conditioning, mobility, flexibility, is one of the key pillars, along with sleep and nutrition, that is absolutely critical for that to happen. You can check out a lot more on this in this video up here. So let's dive into it. Why do we do it, or why should we do it? And I'll start by answering the age-old question. Steve?
I have a question. Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
First and foremost, you're very brave for asking that, because everyone's thinking of it. Maybe not in that context, but I'll tell you what context. He is right, and I'll tell you why. If you don't use it, you will lose it. So what are we talking about here? We are talking about sarcopenia. What the hell is that? Sarcopenia is the natural deterioration of our muscles as we age. And this naturally starts to happen for the greater population around age 30, where you start losing very small percentages of your muscle and bone density each year. Really picking up at around age 50. A little scary, right? Now, sarcopenia can and will sneak up on you if you're not looking out for it. Take the circumference of your arm or circumference of your thigh. As you age, as you go through your 30s, 40s, 50s, you may not actually notice a difference in the actual circumference, but what's happening under the covers is the ratio of muscle, bone, and fat are shifting more in favor to the fat and less in favor to the muscle and bone. So even though you visibly don't look any different, a lot has changed if you are not maintaining. And like I just alluded to, the only way to combat this natural deterioration of your muscle and your bone mass is by incorporating some sort of strength training into your weekly regimen. It doesn't need to be extreme. The science points to about 3 times a week, 30 minutes to an hour, about 150 minutes total, if I did that math right. And that's it. So other than preparing you from becoming frail, weak, and fragile as you age, all major risk factors for mortality as you age, may I add, exercise happens to be the best mood-boosting prescription there is. No doctors, no pharmacies, just sweat. Well, we'll get to sweat later. But let me explain. So when we look at the science, there have been numerous studies that show that exercise leads to better mood and less anxiety, thankful to that kick-ass endorphin boost, as well as strong antidepressant properties. One study showing that just 3 sessions a week had a large antidepressive effect on a large adult population with major depression. Pretty powerful stuff. Now, what else, you may ask? Let's take a look at learning and memory. Studies have associated HIIT training, high intensity interval training, with the upregulation of certain genes that promote an increase in connections in neurons in the hippocampus, your memory and learning center of the brain. There's also some interesting studies around incorporating exercise into the aging brain. So with an older population, the study showed that after exercise, participants had more activity in these learning and memory centers of the brain and were able to retain information better. Again, pretty crazy thing for something that is free. No drugs, just sweat. Speaking of sweat, who can forget everybody's favorite byproduct of exercise? That wet, slimy stuff that excretes out of our pores. Yeah, baby. Now, some may think it's disgusting, some may think it's their glow. It's all good. What's really happening is, one, your body's cooling itself down from all the heat that it's generated. And along with that, you are filtering out toxins from within, removing endocrine disruptors, detoxing heavy metals, promoting skin health, and fighting harmful microbes, all through that wet, slimy stuff, all through sweat. Sweat big and sweat often. I'm actually getting a little sweaty right now. Woo! It's just really exciting to talk about. Anyway, to the back end, less exciting news. This thing called exercise does tend to help with this thing called weight loss. But no one seems to be, are people interested in that or not interested in that? I always get confused. Let's just say that you are interested in it. So, exercise affects weight loss in a number of different ways. One, by changing our energy expenditure. And it might not change it in the way that you think that it would be changed. So at a high level, energy expenditure is broken up into three major categories. One, the energy you burn from activity. Two, the energy that you burn from your basic metabolic rate. And three, the energy you burn digesting food. Now, the way you might think that exercise really affects weight loss is by increasing your activity level. You burn 500 more calories a day with your exercise regimen. That means over time you're gonna lose weight as long as you keep your energy intake stable. Now, that will make a little bit of a difference, but that doesn't make the big difference. By incorporating exercise into your weekly regimen, you change your basic metabolic rate. This is your resting energy expenditure, the energy that you're burning doing nothing. And the way that this happens is that exercise increases the proliferation of your mitochondria. Real quick, mitochondria are our energy producing organelles in our cells. By exercising and by strength training, the demand for energy goes up, so genes are turned on to proliferate mitochondria. We essentially make more to meet the physical demand, and as we continue this exercise regimen, more mitochondria means more energy is burned at rest. That's at a super duper high level. But that's what we want to attack. We want to burn more by doing less. And how we do that is through exercise, through strength training, through building muscle.
The less you do, the more you do. Let's see it pop up. Pop it up.
Got it? Cool. So along with increasing the functionality and activity of our mitochondria, exercise has shown some other benefits for those who are dealing with obesity or dealing with diseases such as diabetes. One of those being increasing our insulin sensitivity, and studies highlighting that this can happen in your muscles and in your brain cells. And it also stimulates our cellular recycling program called autophagy and cellular adaptation process called hormesis. Check them both out up here. Last but not least, the thing, deep down that keeps on pounding away, our heart loves exercise. As you probably know, exercise is associated with cardiovascular fitness, which is inversely related with mortality. So the more cardiovascular fitness you have, statistically, the lower your chance of death. Now, there's a million caveats in between that, but from a large population standpoint, that's what the data points at. And like I said in the beginning, to be effective here, it only takes 2% of your day. 3 days a week. If you are a believer that you are your most valuable asset, which you should be, this 2% of your time each day needs to be looked at as a necessary investment. Think about it. Cleans out toxins, makes your body run more efficiently, lowers stress, reduces your risk of disease, curbs your appetite, increases your cardiovascular strength, makes you sleep like a goddamn baby, and feel awesome. 2%. Start investing.